us. The two most important people on this boat right now are right behind you. That is Parker and Kate, your bartenders. Okay? Now, if you haven't met the bartenders yet, I want to recommend you do, because the more times you see them, the funnier I get. Let's be honest with each other, all right? Now, with no further ado, folks, take a look on your right-hand side at some of the beautiful yachts that call Fort Lauderdale home. Now, here's the deal. I want to start off by saying that all these yachts you see on the right-hand side, these are the poor people, ladies and gentlemen, okay? They can only afford the 100 to 160-foot yachts. Once we get into the second half of our tour, they are going to double and triple in size, okay? The most expensive one at Bahia Mar today is here on your right-hand side, Archimedes, this navy blue yacht right here. She's ringing in at $100 million. Hold your breath, folks. They get more expensive than that. Another one that's worth pointing out here is on your right-hand side, this white yacht named Gallant Lady. Now, Gallant Lady is owned by a guy named Jim Rand. If you're local, you've probably heard of that before. JM Lexus, JM Toyota, all the way above, right? Now, in the second half of the tour, or any later today, you might think that you're going crazy, because you might see an identical yacht named Gallant Lady. Now, you're not going crazy, and the yacht didn't move, okay? Jim Rand right here owns two identical Gallant Ladies, one for business, he says, and one for pleasure, okay? Wouldn't it be nice? I know. Now, something else cool to check out here on your right-hand side is this little tower straight next to us on the right-hand side right now. You can see it's got bleacher seating, all the above. That is actually the Swimming Hall of Fame right there on your right-hand side. It's a pretty big deal here in Fort Lauderdale, and that tower is a diving platform, okay? I know. On our last trip, they were actually doing some kind of event. People were diving off that top platform a little bit earlier today. They actually just finished building that platform, and it now stands as one of the tallest diving platforms in the world, okay? You can't even get me on the diving of that tower over there on the right-hand side. Now, coming up right in front of us here, folks, we got this bridge here. We're not going to be going through this one, but this is Las Olas Boulevard Bridge. Now, this is pretty much the gateway to downtown Fort Lauderdale. If you're on Las Olas Boulevard, you're going downtown. That runs through our entire downtown area. Now, some of the coolest things about this area that we're on right now, before these bridges existed, there was actually no way to get to the other side. This was all water. It was never connected by land back in the day. You could only get to the other side, to the beach side, by swimming or by boat, way back in the day. Now, another cool thing, we don't normally come this far forward here, so it's a little interesting to talk about this. You may have seen this on social media, on TikTok, maybe on the news, but there was a pretty insane tornado that happened about a week and a half ago. If you were wondering where that was right here, okay? It pretty much came down the Las Olas Boulevard Bridge. It came through all these sailboats right here and straight into the parking lot where we keep the children, okay? So as you can imagine, we ended up canceling our tour for that night. The people were like freaked out. It looks like they removed the sailboat already, but that small tornado, it was an F0, that was powerful enough to actually flip one of these full-size sailboats and completely sink it, all right? That was about 2 weeks ago. Pretty unbelievable. Normally, in the state of Florida, we'll only see those tornadoes during hurricanes. In the middle of January, that was pretty bizarre to me, right? Now, continuing here, we got some cool stuff over here on your right-hand side. Now, this neighborhood that we're going to be passing for the next 5 minutes or so is called the Idlewild neighborhood. Now, if that name sounds a little familiar to you, that was actually the old name of the JFK airport back in the day, Idlewild, right? Now, this neighborhood here was built back in the 60s, and they considered it Fort Lauderdale's first high-income housing neighborhood. Now, if you've spent any time in Fort Lauderdale lately and looking for places, every one of our neighborhoods is high income these days, right? Now, back in the day, I said this was established in the 60s. If you wanted to buy a house here, it would run you about $50,000 to $55,000. Boy, would you have been lucky if you did that, all right? In this neighborhood here on your right-hand side, the least expensive house is up for sale right now for $3.4 million. And that's about a half mile away from us, all right? You can't even see the water from that house. Absolutely unbelievable, the prices of these houses here. Now, I do want to go back to the marina that we just left for a second here. Bahia Mar Marina, here on your left-hand side, is home to the Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show. Has anyone been to the boat show. Okay, if you haven't, I can't recommend it enough. It happens every single year, late October, early November. Now that event is 5 days long. People come from all over the world to see it, and people also come from all over the world to bring their yachts, to showcase, to sell, all of the above. The highest price tag on a yacht that I've ever seen at the boat show was $400 million. And guess what? It sold that year, all right? The Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show is pretty much the biggest deal in Fort Lauderdale here. Every year it comes around and goes. It provides 70% of the revenue to Fort Lauderdale for the year in 5 days, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I ended up looking it up the other day. The last statistic they have is back from 2021. The boat show brought in $1.8 billion worth of revenue, okay? If you're wondering what that's kind of equivalent to, that's the equivalent to 3 Super Bowls in your city within 5 days, all right? How unbelievable is that? We got some more beautiful yachts here. We got Helios. We also got Bookends right up in front of it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I told you, if you want to get even more impressed, just wait until the second half of the tour. Now, one house coming up here that I'd like to point out in particular, it's coming up on your right. It's still just a hair ahead of us. You'll see they have the yacht in the backyard named Redemption. Now, right behind that is a 3-story house with the curved staircases out front. You'll see it better in just a moment coming up on your right-hand side. Now, that house is known as the Papillon House. Anyone know what Papillon means? Butterfly, absolutely. This is the butterfly house coming up here on your right-hand side. Now, you can't really tell from the front, but let's say if you were looking at it from up above, it's shaped like a butterfly. Pretty neat, right? Now, the 2 curved staircases, those are supposed to be the antennas to help you picture it a little bit better. Now, this house goes out to extreme property limits. You'll see they have no front yard, no side yards, and no backyard. So where do they park their cars, right? Well, look at the first one of that house. It is wide open. That's a 10-car garage with room for 2 stretch limousines. Okay? That's my problem at home. I don't have parking for my second stretch limo. Okay? Now, there's no backyard. You're in South Florida. You gotta have a pool, right? Well, they have one, but where'd they put it? Up on the roof. Absolutely. That house has a rooftop pool and jacuzzi. All that means to me, no tan lines at their house. Okay. Now, here's the deal. Every time I talk about this house, I ask a question.
Para que le dio otros 25 y ahí a
14 years ago, this home was built off of speculation. The builder had this grand idea for a butterfly house. It looks like there's a butterfly in every room. He thought someone would fall in love with it, okay? That was 14 years ago and not a soul has lived in that house.
Acá después, no me voy a
It's
quitar
still up for
yendo la
sale.
señal.
It's the most expensive home in this neighborhood. It's listed at $28 million with no takers so far, all right? Every couple of months, there's a big banner outside that says sale pending. There's never been a sale pending, but it gets them a couple extra phone calls, all right? Now, let me make that even crazier here. Every house that we have passed on your right-hand side is worth less than every other home we're going to see today. Now, how could that be? These houses are water view and not waterfront, all right? That little street there that separates their home from the water does a great deal to decrease the property value. Now, the rich people don't like that because all that means they got to drag their coolers all the way across the street to their yachts in the morning, okay? I feel bad on Sundays. I go over there and volunteer. Now, switching gears here on your right-hand side, this section of the tour is known as Millionaire's Row, and you'll see why pretty quickly here. First one on the right, got the White House with all the black and white striped awnings. Before I tell you who this is, do I have any locals on board? Anybody live down here? Okay, even if you're not, we'll see if you know this. So his commercial played every 5 minutes back in the 90s. If you need a car, truck, or van, who are you gonna call? Who said Ghostbusters? I heard you. No, I heard it. Maroney. Yes, Maroney. Now, this is Mike Maroney right here on your right-hand side. And that man made every penny that he has buying and selling used cars. Okay? He had the biggest chain of used car lots in the state of Florida. Now, this upsets me. It's a little personal, I won't lie to you, because growing up, my mom said, Monica, go to school, get good grades, don't be a used car salesman. Okay? Y'all, I went to school, I got my degree, I became a captain on the Jungle Queen, and I'm showing y'all the membership to LA Fitness? Anyone? Anyone? Ah, you? Okay. If you raised your hands, you helped buy that home. Over there on the left-hand side. Yes, that was the CEO of LA Fitness. We just passed. Now, you're going to hear me talk about a lot of crazy stuff today. Millionaires, billionaires, all of the above. Now, here's the deal. There is one thing I drive home on every single tour I do, and that's that sometimes all it takes is one good idea. That's the truth, all right? I'm saying that now. Look over to your right-hand side. 2-story beige house, brown barrel tile roof right on the corner here. This guy's name is Jim Dinkin, and he had one good idea in his lifetime. That was the honey baked ham. Okay? That is the only business this guy ever started. That's a $16 million waterfront home from sliced ham, ladies and gentlemen, all right? One good idea, that's the truth. If he can do it, anybody else can. Now, as we're making our way forward here, one of the first things you'll see right up in front of us, you get your best view of the downtown skyline. It's been really foggy these last couple days, so it's a beautiful view out in front of us. Now, what you'll also notice is all these red and green things that are sticking out of the water. Now, here's the deal. Those are helping us navigate right now. You can see we're going to the right. This path is going to take us downtown. Now, what if we took the path to the left, all right? In 2 hours, we'd be in Bayside Marketplace, Miami, all right? Go south from there about 4 hours, we would be in Key West. Go south another 3 hours, we'd be in Cuba, absolutely. And 2 minutes after we land in Cuba, we'd be in jail. Yes, we would, okay? So, jokes aside, we're going to go to the right, we're going to take you downtown. But why is it so important to understand these markers? Well, you see where all these boats are anchored up over here on your left-hand side? This is our local sandbar, all right? This is a real shallow spot of the water. Now, to the little boats, that doesn't matter. You come out here, throw the anchor, jump in the water, have a good time. But if you have a 200-foot yacht, okay, at low tide, that sandbar is about 6 inches of water. So if you don't know what you're doing and you don't know how to read these markers, you might have a really bad day. Now for locals, this means party spot, all right? I want to point out one boat in the middle there with the flags flying and the blue sign on top that says Jay's Sandbar Food Boat. That is exactly what that sounds like, folks. That is a full-service floating restaurant on the sandbar, okay? Now, you see the little teeny tiny boat that's hooked right up to it? They do delivery, ladies and gentlemen, okay? I'm not making this up. You call them up, hey, I'm the blue boat way down in the south corner. His 14-year-old son will hop on that skiff and deliver your food to you, okay? Now, it's surprisingly busy today because of the weather. It's taken me by surprise how many people are out here. But let me tell you something, if you like people watching, come out here in the summer, all right? There's 200 boats out here, and you can sit here for a couple of hours and watch every bad decision you have ever made happen right in front of you. It's fantastic. Now, keeping it going, folks, back to your right-hand side. I got the house with the American flag hanging off the palm tree with the rock seawall. Now, if you look real close on the rocks, there's a little crocodile. Anybody see him? All right, if you can, don't be too upset. He's made out of concrete, all right? He hasn't moved in a while. But that crocodile's going to give you a hint at the original owner of the home. That's the guy that put crocodiles on polo shirts. Lacoste, absolutely. So, that house was built for Mr. Rene Lacoste back in the day. Now, he did pass away. House has been sold a couple times, but he was a funny guy. Right before he died, he included that crocodile in the deed to the property, okay? No matter who owns the house, no matter who tears it down, that crocodile's never going anywhere. Pretty cool tribute to Mr. Lacoste. Now, also on your right-hand side, we got this house under construction here with the builder signs out back. I'm not going to lie to you, really not too much to say about this house, but what I will tell you is that I've been working on the Jungle Queen for 5.5 years, all right? And they have been building that thing for 5.5 years, okay? That's all I got. Come see me in 2 years, there'll be one more window up on top, all right? That's all I got there. Now, the next one is back to your left, and it's a little ahead of us. There's a reason for that. You can see he's got the blue boat in his backyard with the American flag hanging on top of it. Now, I'm talking about him early so that he can't hear me, all right? That man considers himself the United States' richest licensed drug dealer. Okay? I went by there this morning. I needed a couple things. That is the CEO of Walgreens over there on your left. Jokes don't get any better, folks. That's why there's a bar on board. All right? Now, back over to your right-hand side once again. Got the orange house with the striped awnings, rock seawall as well. This might be a long shot, but is anyone from Wisconsin? Anyone? Ah, you back there. This is your former senator right here on the right-hand side. His name is Herbert Cole, all right? Unfortunately, he passed away not too long ago. Now, even if you've never heard of Herb Cole, probably giving him some money. How about Cole's Department Stores? Right? Now, any of my ladies got that Kohl's cash? Anybody? Yeah. Raising her hand for her. Let me tell you how that works. If you have Kohl's cash, he's got yours. Simple as that, all right? Now, we're going to stick to the right for a couple more moments here. I got this pale yellow